just one more time?
No? Is it
all right? Okay.
Just
Welcome, everybody. Welcome to Gehenna Gaming VirtualHorror Con. We are going to be talking about today one of my favorite subjects of all time, actually playing. The pitfalls of playing tabletop role-playing games on streams, on podcasts. Right now, it's actually a pretty common thing. I mean, I myself started an actual play not that long ago, but I'm sitting here with some serious professionals, and I'm trying not to squee, but I'm,
Do you even know who I am? Do you know how I just got into this? Like, I just accessed the Zoom link. I just hacked. I don't know who you guys are.
Mike is actually a coworker of mine who found out that we're having this virtual horror con and decided to just squeeze into a convention.
Yeah. I just looked in your emails. You've really got to change your password from your date of birth, man. Honestly.
Well, password 1 I thought is pretty good standard across the board, right?
You gotta change
you switched it to
password 2 every couple weeks. Change it up.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah. Mix it up.
Yep, change it to like password 1, password 2. Okay, so we have a whole coterie of talent here with me. Obviously, my name is Mark. I'm from Gehenna Gaming, also known as Marchosius. I'm all over the place. It doesn't matter who I am. What matters is we have a few other people. Mike Lebeau. Did I say that right?
You did. You smashed it. Unlike all of the doctors that I've had in the past, you absolutely nailed it, man.
Did they try to put like a little French like Lebeau?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, all the time. Or I got Lebean once. That's not an N. It's you. It's the opposite way around. But, you
Only
know,
if it's
like
the coffee bean.
I would do that for the Vine, which is now a dead medium, and no one will ever get that reference. But I would do it.
Well, yeah. Now it's called TikTok. Well, no, there's another one. What's the other one?
What?
There's another one.
What? There's another one?
Mike,
TikTok?
You got to get on that bite, sir. Your name is Mike Lebeau. You're the head of video for Rusty Quill, the director of Rusty Quill's RQ streams and gaming and giving.
That's right.
Pretty awesome.
That's right. Yeah, it's our big charity show that we run at the end of every year, which is normally a live event. So we bring people down and they sit in an audience, and we stream it over Twitch as well. And everyone has a good time. We work with theaters around London. It's really fun, and our fans seem to love it. So we do it every year, and RQ Streams is like a boiled down version of that. So it's a twice weekly stream show that we run on Wednesdays and Saturdays, where me and my streaming partner, and hopefully soon some of the other RQ guys, will get involved, and we stream various things. So all good fun.
Can I let you in on a secret?
Of course, yeah.
So this virtual horror con was slightly inspired by that.
Was it?
Yeah. So we were canceling. All these cons were being canceled. Everybody was bummed, like, oh, crap, we're not going to be able to run games.
Yeah.
And we're thinking now, like, my company allowed me, because I'm lucky to have a job, to stay home and work from home. And everybody was doing the self-quarantine thing. It's like, oh, crap, what are we going to do? We're going to miss out on all this stuff. Let's just do kind of what Rusty Quill has done in the past. And it kind of snowballed from there. After that, we stopped thinking about Rusty Quill.
That's cute.
Because Ian is a huge fan of yours, of your company, and yes, absolutely. He I didn't even, yeah,
amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So it's great to have you here. Thank you so much. We're also joined by 2 of my favorite streamers from one of my favorite actual plays, Devil's Luck Gaming. We have Kassandra Leigh. I think we're flipped, so I'm not sure if you're on the left or the right on the stream.
Left and right's really complicated. Don't worry about it.
Thank you. And NotMyCake, newest addition to Devil's Luck Gaming.
Yes.
Devil's Luck,
also known as Nikita.
Devil's Luck Gaming, streaming dark and immersive, visually impactful D&D 5 and tabletop role-playing games of all kinds, including Shadowrun. I think it was the very first one that I actually watched. Really enjoyed the hell out of that. The aesthetic is mwah.
We burned ourselves with blacklight. It was good.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Did you really burn yourself with blacklight?
We have the DJ ones that are powerful enough that you're supposed to use it over an entire room, but we were just nuking Connery's Halloweener tattoo the entire time, like right here, because he was on stream and we didn't want to, wanted to show up.
Are you ever going to do that again? Like that same light, or you're like, no more, we're not doing that ever again?
No, I would totally do it again, but not for this one because she gets hypes.
I'm
So,
allergic to the sun.
Yeah.
Oh, you're like a real vampire. Speaking of vampires, you also did V5.
Yes, we actually worked with White Wolf for their launch for V5, which was insane. It was really cool to get our hands on it and kind of see it before people had opinions yet.
Yeah.
But we also run a lot of Chronicles on our channel. Right now we have the Fractured Chronicles series, which is going through all the splats. And this one's first time ever in a Chronicles game was Werewolf.
Oh, that's not bad.
There was a death rage of about six puppos.
I killed a child
yesterday. Yeah.
Oh. Wow.
To give you a rough idea. Thank you for leading me. It's good. It's good.
Yeah.
Good.
Well, I
I'm
gotta
here for
say,
that.
killing
helped
puppies and
kill a
children
child.
for pretend.
I
I mean,
helped.
it's not real. It's not real.
And before the
Say.
stream, we were talking about French presses, and now we're talking about child death and puppy murder. What is the progression of this show?
18
Moving
plus.
on. Moving on.
Very
Just-
quickly.
Very quickly, I'm just going to say I'm going to piss in your pocket one more time. I'm going to blow sunshine in different places because I am a huge fan of the aesthetic of the promotion of that werewolf game. It's got like this really cool like 1970s Devil's Rejects thing going on, and I'm a huge fan of it.
There's so much mustard yellow in the 70s.
Yeah.
I can't unsee it, man. Dude,
Yeah.
it's not normally my aesthetic, but
I think I watched The Warriors 6 times.
That's great.
Taxi Driver, I believe
Mm.
we had to watch. Yep, required media consumption for the period. We
That's
actually lit the
appropriate.
entire set with like period appropriate lights because I'm an asshole.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, hey, listen, we can all be assholes sometimes. You know who isn't an asshole? Drew Kuehndorf. Thank you, by the way, for writing how
I got you,
exactly to
buddy.
pronounce your name.
I got you.
Obviously from Occultist Anonymous. If you have been paying attention at all, then you have watched the actual play of Mage the Awakening on our YouTube channel throughout this weekend. You have been killing it, sir, by the way. I've been
Thank you. Appreciate
stalking
that.
the YouTube channel just to watch Mage the Ascension. So the way that you like manage people
The
as
other
they're
one.
trying to go towards the goals and you're trying to like throw hooks in, and I just really like how you run games. So
I appreciate
it's a
that.
pleasure to have you.
Oh, just to remind folks at home, Awakening, not Ascension. We have two different games, and they're two very different ones. And I had Terry Robinson or
Robinson?
Terry from Mage the Podcast who does Ascension, and I literally just got out of running Awakening for him for the first time ever. Like he had never played Awakening, and so that was a fun little thing of going, okay, so we do this in this game and this in this game, and yeah.
Oh, the system shock. That must have
Yes.
been really fun.
Yeah. Though he jumped straight into it with both feet, and so yeah,
I
hit
mean,
the ground running.
That guy is an encyclopedic knowledge when it comes to mage. Not your mage, but his mage. I still have a hard time telling the difference myself. So maybe one day I'll play in one of your games. Maybe one day I'll
Oh
play
well,
in one
yeah,
of his games.
we'll have you down. Yeah.
Hell yeah, dude. Okay, why are we here? We're here to talk about podcast. Excuse me. Actually playing TTRPG on stream or in podcasts. You know, one of the things that's really, really difficult to do is to actually get started. Like I'm running a tabletop game at home. I think I have funny friends, or maybe I might have a Twitch stream where I play some video game or whatever. Thinking about starting a podcast because I'm stuck in my house because I can't go anywhere because of quarantine. You know, this getting started to actually go from running a regular game at home to actually playing an actual play. So let's talk about that. How did you start? All of you. Let's go. At the same time.
Who's
Okay,
on
sure.
first? What's
I
on
was going to
second?
say, who's up?
Sure, I'll go. I don't know because I know Devil's Lux Gaming has been around for a bit. I'm not sure how long, Mike, you've been doing Rusty Quill, but we literally just passed our 1-year anniversary like 2 weeks ago, so that was very fun.
Congratulations.
Congratulations,
Thank
man.
you. Yeah, we're almost at 100 episodes, and of course the pressure is now building up. What are you going to do for episode 100? I'm like, I'm just going to keep playing the game, right? That's not like no,
That's too much. God.
Yeah.
but no, for us, I'll admit, I've been playing online games prior to the quarantine. I like playing online. I use Roll20. Hi guys. And I love that tool because for me it keeps me organized. So I was already planning on playing the game online, and I literally just looked at my players and said, "Hey guys, nobody else is doing this stuff on YouTube, so I'm just going to record this." And we're going to see what happens. We did basically no prep other than I told them, hey guys, I'm going to record this and then I'm going to edit it. And they all said, yeah, okay, sure, why not?
No pressure.
And so, yeah, if you really want to see evolution of a game, and you want to see like how you build up from, oh my god, this is so bad, to, hey, this is actually tolerable and watchable, episodes 1 through 15 will get you there.
Oh my god, the
I'm
beginner's
binging.
ramp up, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
dude.
boy.
Oh, man. Like, I was like, hey, yeah, let me go back to watch one of those first episodes. I got about 30 minutes into it. I'm like, the audio is so bad. The
Man, you
video
got
is so
30
bad.
minutes in. I get like 2.
Oh, yeah,
Honestly,
it was-
and then I just duck
Turn
out
it
there.
off.
It's awful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I highly suggest, like, legitimately, you can eventually become popular and a person, but legitimately, if you had any interest in doing it, do it. Start it, right? I think everybody can agree, because, like, don't try to be perfect on your first episode. It's not going to happen. You're going to find something that goes wrong. So go out, do it. And because I literally went from, okay, I did episode 1 and I edited it. And I was like, wow, the audio sounds terrible. How can I get everybody's audio instead of just pulling the just Discord audio? Which was not great. And then I had everybody in different channels and I could edit it. And you get the iterative effect. So the biggest thing for me of like how to get started, start. And then see what irritates you when you edit it or when you watch it, or if you can convince a friend, hey, I'm doing this thing, go watch it and give me your brutal and honest opinion. And I had some friends who were wonderfully brutally honest. Hi, Perry.
Oh boy. Feel you, sir. I feel you.
No,
You
but
need that. You need that though. You need someone
You
who's
do,
going
yes.
to tell you the truth. Who's not going to be like, "Oh, it's so good. You're doing so good," and you're like, oh, "Okay, thank you."
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I'm asking you so that you can tell me if I sound too nasally, or if that's just in my own, like self-hatred or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
are
I think
these
it's
things
very
I should focus on?
hard to get critiques from people,
Yeah.
like an honest critique, especially because when you're starting something new, people just want to be supportive. They want to see you do it, but then
Right.
they don't realize that's actually a little hurting you sometimes, because you're like, no, if I'm serious, I really want feedback, and it would be better if it came from someone who cared, right? But most
Yeah.
of your friends aren't going to be honest with you. So sometimes it's actually good to listen to like
Strangers?
public comments.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
In
Read the
moderation.
comments.
Yeah.
In
Well,
moderation, yeah.
And the scary thing is you actually got to get the comments first, which means, like, I didn't get my first comment on our YouTube videos for 30 something episodes and stuff, because let's be honest, it's mage. We're kind of a niche thing when we compare it to vampire and werewolf and stuff like that. But then the comments came in and most everybody was really positive. I'm like, oh, that's very nice. And everybody's been very cool, which I know now that I put that out there, the trolls are coming, but that's fine. Whatever. I'll
Yeah,
handle that. But
You
yeah,
kind of put that out in the
Casually
universe.
makes a non-account.
Yes.
Actually, I don't like what you do on this channel. So at a certain point, there's a certain level of self-awareness that you have, and self-critiquing over a period of time, I'm sure. So it sounds like after like 30, 50, I don't know, 100 episodes, maybe you're close to that, but it's pretty cool to hear that you're being humble about it, saying, hey, listen, I don't think we were great when we first started, but it takes time. Mike, how about you? How did you get started? Did you go from doing what you did to, actually diving into the actual
Man.
plays?
It was a long meandering process, my friend. So basically, I started as a YouTuber. That's how I started. So I was I used to play games on YouTube. All the videos are still available there. Like my other channel, the Happy Go Lucky Scamps. It was a thing that I was meant to do with a friend of mine. It was meant to be a 2-part channel. Blah 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 blah. Anyway, it all fell apart. Is the long and the short of that story, because just logistical problems and etc. So I moved from YouTube into the Rusty Quill, because one day I met a guy, his name's Alex Newell, he's now my boss, and he owns the Rusty Quill, and he asked me to become an audio editor for him. So he said, what I want to do for you, Mike, what I want to do for you is I want you to come on board as our head of video. I was like, great, okay. And he said, right, if you could start by editing the Magnus Archives, our horror podcast, which we're just spinning up. I was like, okay, all right. So I actually got into all of this as a YouTuber turned audio editor. I was the lead editor on the Magnus Archives for seasons 1 and 2. Then I trained all of our new editors for seasons 3 and 4. And they've obviously taken flight and done their own things. And now they run their own training, which is absolutely amazing. And then from that, I obviously I didn't get involved too much with the Rusty Quill Gaming stuff. In fact, I've only been invited to one season special so far. I'm expecting to get invited to another one at some point soon, maybe. Alex, if you're watching, just saying. But like my view is that with all of this sort of stuff, it all kind of revolves around similar things anyway. The main reason why I got into all of this was ultimately because, one, I really enjoyed gaming and I wanted to share my love of gaming with communities that also enjoyed gaming, and especially the indie scene, smaller developers, getting them some airtime, all that sort of stuff. But also to do something good as well. And so I started the Gaming and Giving Initiative, which is the charity event I was talking about earlier, where at the end of the year, we basically invite a load of streamers, a load of comedians, TTRPGers, whoever, basically whoever wants to come down. We invite them down, we all play games together, and we raise money for mental health charities. And through that, I have learned so fucking much about why you do not do this. It will eat your year. It will end like most of the social engagements that you have. I mean, at the end of all of this, it's wonderful. The show that we put on is really, really fun. The run up to this, because it started as a one-man production, but because like I started this before I joined the Rusty Quill. It started as a one-man production. It was a 24-hour show where I streamed by myself for 24 hours to raise as much money as I could for my mental health charity. Then the second show, I started to affiliate with the Rusty Quill. We had a cast of 6, we had a crew of 4, and that was enough to get us through. Then it became a Rusty Quill show. It was that year that I said, I want to do all this, but streaming in full 360 video. So we brought on board a VR partner who I found at various events, and then we streamed the entire show, a 12-hour show, in 360 video in our studio in North London. And then after
was that live?
I said,
12 hours? Was that like 12 hours straight?
12 hours straight with no breaks. Yeah, no breaks at all. It was literally just a straight stint, but
it's
with
like,
varying
diapers
cast and
and
crew.
Diapers and IV drip.
Yeah.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say, do you have designated coffee makers and people
They
that
just hold it next to your face. You're like, go.
Yeah.
No, we have runners. They're the best. Like our runners, they each know how to make everyone the coffee and tea that they like, and
Those
so
are the real
they
heroes.
Yeah, they are.
Yes.
Honestly, my crew are the fucking best. Honestly, they are. They're all volunteers as well. They all volunteer their time, and they're just there to make the show as good as it can be. So we have dedicated runners. We have a dedicated social media team. We've got... Don't you give me the bunny ears. I can see you. We have different pockets of people who all do one very specific job, and they rotate and in and out. Now, obviously, we have like health and safety to think about, and we have like stream time and all this sort of stuff. It's boring. And then basically on the back of that, we did a live.
Yeah, this is good.
I hope so.
Yeah, it's a lot.
I hope so.
I feel like that story probably gives a lot of hope to some would-be streamers, present company included, who are running a very, very scaled down operation. And the fact that you saying I love my crew is a loaded statement. First of all, the fact that you have a crew to love, number one. Number two,
Sure.
the fact that you do love them and they're kicking ass and taking names, hopefully kicking ass more than taking names. But
I mean, they do
cool.
both
That's
because
awesome.
we have to have people on the door so that they can sign people in. They have tickets. It's a ticketed event.
Aaron,
Otherwise, it all
actually-
goes to the dogs. So
Oh,
they
yeah.
literally do kick ass and take names.
That's fantastic. Okay, I want to move on. Kassandra, NotMyCake, Devil's Luck Gaming. You're killing it in the aesthetic actual play game. One of my favorites. Let's talk about it. How did you get to where you are now?
Well, I think a lot of, like you mentioned, the aesthetic is something we're really well known for. And that's kind of because we came from a background in LARP. We really loved LARPs. I personally did a lot of tabletop. I wasn't as involved as Connery, who is the other co-owner. But we also have chronic illness and we're poor. So it made LARPs, as we got older and schedules were harder, it was harder to do all those things and travel across the country and do those things when you're sick all the time. So we kind of wanted to try and take some of the elements of the LARP and have like our own little like demi-LARP experience with all the tabletop things that we loved as well. and it kind of gave an excuse for our friends to come over. So it really did start in a really horrendous game, which is also still public to view on our Twitch channel. If you want to check out our Dungeons and Dark Souls, that was actually before we even started fully costuming, because Conry was the one who kind of got it rolling. And
Cool.
later on, I was like, but I have a closet of steel plate armor, and I got this weird mask, and having a background in photography, I had a lot of weird things just to kind of help spring us up, because I do think that it's very hard to be an artist and get people to see what you do and give you a chance, especially when you're brand new. And I think the average attention span is like 8 seconds as per 2019. So you have 8 seconds to have someone give your story a chance. And as anybody who does writing or storytelling, you have a lot to convey really fast. So I was hoping that by bringing these additional visual elements, like building a weird forest behind there, that's why that's there. We're building things. Don't look back there.
Oh, that's not like the base. That's the cover. There's
Yeah,
something
right
cool
now
behind
we're
there.
kind of using that as the background for our werewolf for the DM side, but mostly also because we're building a sci-fi set behind there. So it's kind of
so
covered in
cool.
like construction stuff at the minute.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Also, lots of my paints.
Yes. There's some terrain building back there as well.
Man.
So
Our landlord's yet to see our basement.
seriously, if you're watching, landlord, forgive them, for they know exactly what they're doing, and they're doing it well. So NotMyCake, you started about a year ago, right? Is it officially a year as of now? Yesterday? 2 weeks
We
ago?
upped our lease.
No, I didn't start when you guys first came
Shit,
in.
you're right.
I started a couple months after. You guys had a month and a half of no other.
We pre-recorded when we moved.
You pre-recorded. So they had a bunch of episodes pre-recorded, and I happen to know them from the con scene for about 10 years. They know how insane I am with my costumes and my photography, and we got along. I almost said a fire pun, but that's not. Anyway.
I thought you got emotional for a second. I'm like,
Yeah.
this is,
Ew,
Which
emotion.
is good stuff.
Ugh, put that away.
I promised myself I wouldn't cry.
No. I just,
Dude, the pun game, bring it out. It's fine. I'll hit it as well. You tee him up. You tee him up, and I'm going to knock him out the park. Honestly,
Okay,
you and me,
pun
we're
for
gonna do
pun.
this together,
Pun
all
for
right?
pun. Right now.
Yeah.
Go.
Yeah,
Mike.
yeah.
No.
Well, I got
Don't
puns
indulge
of puns.
No,
Got
I'm
puns
sorry.
on puns.
listen,
All
I've
pun,
been
no
playing Animal
bun.
Crossing. I have nothing but puns in my head right now. Okay.
Nice.
Okay,
Oh,
so
it's going
yeah,
to be a very
No,
punny
I've
stream.
known them for 10 years, and when I found out they were moving to my state, Jersey, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go and I'm gonna go and see them. I'm gonna go and visit them. They invited me over, and I
You
came
drove an hour every week to play
Hour and a half.
D&D with us. An hour and a half.
every Saturday to play in the Pirates game for about 6 months before you were like, hey, can you just move in?
Just stay, and we'll roll more dice. Just stay.
So I did. I stayed. I got a new job. I moved down here one day, started my new job the next day, and from then on didn't have to drive an hour and a half to play in a pirate game.
as someone who drives,
Perks.
Yeah.
as someone who drives 2 hours to play Vampire the Masquerade, I can definitely feel that feel.
That dedication is not something that is very common, but in terms of loving your team, I don't have a very big team, but hell, when that like the enthusiasm's there, I'm like, it's so
Is it
running
rare.
onto
It's
it,
so
yeah.
good. You got to hold on to that when you find that.
There's a running theme
100%.
here. It's like loving
Yes, it is
loving my
gay!
team.
Yeah.
So we just got the
Yeah, we
gay
got heckled.
seal heckle from upstairs.
I get the reference. It's okay. Yeah.
There's a fuzz.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna find a segue here.
yes.
So
Please do.
Devil's Luck Gaming tries all different kinds of game lines. I think it's brilliant. I think that you kind of portray different ways of playing. You have a very specific aesthetic, but ultimately you're trying and displaying different game lines. I know that Occultist Anonymous has the Mage the Awakening. It's a very specific one game line. You have Rusty Quill, same kind of situation, right? With the Gaming and Giving, it's kind of pick and choose little one shots here and there, right? How the hell do you choose a system to actual play? Like, what's the deciding factor here?
I think while we do have like our D&D games, we play in Onyx Path's Scarred Land setting because we felt like the setting suited the players and what they wanted a little bit more. We wanted something a little less cheese and a little maybe more brutal. But we also kind of are really big on the idea of like, when you say tabletop role play to people, most people, oh, D&D, right? And that's so frustrating. So we do try to point out like, hey, you can play all these different systems and some of them are better suited to what you want. And depending on what setting you're going for, you know, I think there's a lot of options out there.
I've only been playing tabletop for, I want to say, about 2 years now. 2.5 years. And I first started with D&D. I'm in a level 17 barbarian campaign that we play in my friend's dining room. I'm on a level 10 game that we play on Roll20, and every now and then we stream it just for fun. But coming into this house and learning a lot more about it, I'm starting to realize just how good some of the other systems are and how easy it is to kind of keep the ball rolling when you're actually streaming and playing, where you're less worried about the numbers you have to add and more worried about what's already on the table for you.
Yeah, there definitely are other systems out there that are more friendly to people with like learning disabilities and stuff like that, where you can find what level of crunch you want versus what, like, if you're looking for something that's more streamlined, yeah, you can do Powered by the Apocalypse. But what if you want to do something a little more crunchy? Well, Shadowrun will definitely feel that. But if that's too much,
D6 is
you know,
days.
you keep on finding something that works for your players. And I think being able to show more people that there are other things, it could only benefit everyone's first impression when they sit down at the table.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of longevity in one game line, Mage the Awakening. But Drew, you decided on that one game, you stuck with it, you're still going. Here's a major question I'm going to ask you. Just being honest.
A beautiful pun, by the way. I heard that. Major.
Oh yes,
stunning.
Yeah, it was there.
Oh,
That's for you,
stunning.
Mike. Well, I'm disappointed we didn't have a pun off.
It will come.
Yeah. So Drew, here, outside of the fact that Mage the Awakening, there was no other game being played on YouTube, how would someone like yourself or some other actual player find their voice? What would make them different? You know, they have a game on it, they decided on it. For you, it's Mage. For them, it might be something else. It might be, I don't know, Cult Divinity Lost or whatever. How do they find their voice? How do they find what makes them different?
Cool. For me, it's actually really easy. Play what you enjoy. Because anybody watching will be able to tell immediately, and I'm going to call D&D out here, not because D&D is a bad game, but it's the pervasive one, and you see a lot of them. You're going to see podcasters and streamers, and they're trying to do the same thing, and they're trying to find their voice, and they're using D&D because D&D is popular. And raise your hand if you've seen like 4 different, I did D&D, but it's cyberpunk. And they just took D&D instead of looking over and going, well, here's Cyberpunk Red, and here's Shadowrun, and I know there's a Powered by the Apocalypse version. Don't pick D&D and make it your game. Go find the game you want to play and go play that. Yeah. You know, because like for me, I literally decided I was going to play Mage, and I did a little one shot, which anybody who played basically played the one shot. I made a bunch of people play before actually the game started, because people were like, I don't know if I want to play Mage. I've never played before. So we just, I threw together a one shot and we threw them in there and they explored a prison, and that was that. But I got people who are like, okay, yeah, I'm totally into this whole infinite, you know, I got one guy literally by saying, you guys are all wizards. It's an all wizard D&D party, but at level 1 of you could potentially time travel and another one of you can teleport at level 1. Did I mention that it's, and so I got I got people hooked who are into that, and then we went and then we go, then we go, yes. And I'll be honest.
And then we go.
Yes. And at, you know, we basically hit we hit episode 35, and we actually had one of the players step out because Mage was not for them. And they're just like, you know, it's just not working for us. And so they stepped out, and we wrote the character out, and which was fine. And then we continue on with the people who like Mage because it's enticing and that's their game. And because they accidentally decided that they'd say yes to, hey, you want to join my game?
Well, the cool part is you can kind of rotate people too, you know,
Mhm.
and then you find someone who's a rabid mage fan, and you go, yes, please join the party, and let's see where this goes.
Yeah.
I really like that point that you made too. Instead of trying to retrofit D&D because it's the only tabletop game that you know about because you're too lazy to Google. I know that years ago I would get frustrated anytime I would sit at a D&D table because it would be homebrew something. And it's like, today we're going to be basically playing Shadowrun, but it's D&D. And it's like, well, why aren't we playing Shadowrun?
Right.
That's very cool.
Yeah,
I've got
Can I do a quick shout out to Noctal here in chat, because this is a terrific line here. The less you have to brutalize the system, customize it, the more the audience can follow along, and makes it easier for new players to learn the game as they watch and get interested. Gonna get an amen from the audience. Hell yeah. That's exactly if you are interested in doing stuff, exactly that. Because somebody's gonna go buy the book because they're like, hey, this is cool. Let me follow. I had the D&D player's handbook here, and I literally, where are the laser guns? I can't follow.
Yeah, it's because I wanted laser guns in my swashbuckling D&D game. But I think we're in the golden age of tabletop games right now. There is some mainstream games that have what you're looking for, and if not, go look at the indies, and there is something awesome. As all of our non-stream gamers are finding out this weekend, they're trying all sorts of cool systems and going, holy shit, these are cool games that I can play that are very different than D&D. Mike, I want to.
Scene is cool. That's what I'm saying.
Mike, you're right. It is cool. And I think there's a question I want to ask you actually, because there's kind of a major difference. I'm going to talk about the elephant in the room here. Talking about actually playing. He's actually sitting on the other side of the screen.
Okay.
We have the actual play streaming, and then actual play podcasting. Those are two completely different worlds. Mike, that you have kind of straddled between the two, or at at the very least have an understanding of the pros, the cons, the good, the bad, and the ugly between the two.
I mean, I wouldn't ever attest to be an expert, but certainly from my experience, if we're talking about what works and what doesn't work, is that what we're talking about? Yeah. So in terms of any video that I produce, the beginning that I start with is, would this be engaging for an audience to watch? Like, for example, there are Twitch streams of a McDonald's hamburger in Norway, and there are about 1.5 million people watching that at any one time. But what is it that's engaging about that content, right? That's what you have to ask yourself. And the conclusion that I've come to over a period of considered thought is it's intrigue. Like, when someone is interested in something, it doesn't matter sometimes what the thing is. It's how you execute it that's important. And so through the experiences that I've gained, certainly through the video production that I've done, through watching how the other guys set up stuff, through helping set up our studio, through all of these sorts of things, is that ultimately what you end up with is a product where you have to keep questioning, but what about this will actually engage an audience? So twinning that between streaming and actual play, like actual playing, you have to play to do different things. When you're a DM or a GM, right? Normally when you're sat around a table, you're playing to the players at the table. But all of a sudden, as soon as you include Twitch, you're playing to thousands of people, potentially. And so you have to split your attention. I mean, these guys are just like, they get it. And you get it as well, I'm sure. Like, you then have to split your attention between playing to the audience in Twitch and playing to the players. So when we do gaming and giving, one of the big things that I have a big team briefing at the beginning of every session, where I say very explicitly, talk to the cameras, because you have to. It's so easy to forget that the cameras are there. Like, I'm staring into my DSLR lens right now, right? I know that behind that DSLR lens is all of the lovely people who have come out this evening / today to be able to watch this. But I know that because I work in video. A player may not know that, or a less experienced DM may not know that. And so they will play to the people they can physically see. And that really, for me, defines the difference between the two, is that you have to remember to engage with all of the people that are there, all of them, not just the people in the room, but the people behind the camera as well.
Mike, that's inspiring as hell. I've been thinking about the entire weekend, all the games that I've been playing, all the streams that I've had, and all the times I haven't looked at the camera because I'm either looking at, a box that has one of the videos of all of you smiling faces. But the people that are watching, I'm not talking to you. So I'm going to say I'm sorry for not doing that. And Mike, thank you for kind of really shining a light on the elephant in the room. That's really cool.
No, that's fine. Honestly, the thing is, you have to sort of split it, because I got called out earlier today for staring into people's souls. So you don't do too much, because otherwise they feel a little bit intimidated, which is why I'm talking to you on my screen over here. It's interview style. It's off to the left at a 45-degree angle from the lens, right?
Yep.
But if I want to make a point, then I can address the audience directly and then turn back to you, so it's less intimidating.
Staring contest.
Oh, are we doing this now?
Oh, we're on. Oh, we're on.
First one to blink.
I lost.
We've got about 10 minutes left.
I got makeup in my eye. It's
Yeah, that's what they all say.
Speaking of makeup, let's talk about cosplay culture and actual play streaming.
Mate, you own a Segway store, my friend.
I know,
You
I'm
bought the whole
fire.
shop.
Yeah, on fire.
I really wanted it to turn the different direction though. Like, speaking of makeup, and then we're like, yes, and then you're like, no, over here.
As that
Speaking of
segue
makeup,
just
kitchen fires.
by. Yeah.
So, obviously, cosplay in actual streaming is, I think, one of the coolest performative pieces of content that you could do in an actual play. And with video, it's pretty prevalent. So there's not really a question here. It's more along the lines of how can you be inspired if you are, say, a cosplayer, and you also have an actual play, and the two might not seem interrelated. Like, how do you go, okay, I'm going to wear this and wear that and kind of integrate it into my actual play, and integrate your cosplay approach into your streaming?
Cards on the table. That's the question I wanted to ask you as well. So I'm really interested.
Yeah, PJ pants or jeans, right? I don't know.
Under the table, it's normally not real pants. It's pretty much from the waist up. It's costumed. Everything else underneath is, I have worn Deadpool pajamas with like tacos all over them. It was a pirate behind, on a blood sea. Like, I will say though, getting fully into costume, I found helps me as a player, someone who's still a little inexperienced with developing the characters, and until they start having a life of their own. I know when I put that costume on, that piece of jewelry, that vest, that wig, whatever it is, it helps me remind myself that I am this character. I have to be this character. People are going to be looking at me to be this character. That's it. That's what I am now.
It's good for the headspace.
It really is.
And on the other side of it too, like, while it's helping sometimes you get into character, especially like you can even have little like fidgety things that only happen when you're wearing that costume, because the shell's dangling off your shoulders, you're always doing this as the character. It ends up adding something to it. There's passive things that just happen. You sit differently. But there's also the fact that, if you're going to be doing, at least on like the streamed visual side of things, it is like, ooh, what is this? What class is that person? Like, it's interesting right away. You're like, oh, what? I don't understand. And I think that also pulls people in a little bit more, and it's a new level of engaging too, because now even if it's just audio, there's the voice, there's what your characters are saying, but when you're in character, and especially at the table like our games, you can have those moments where you like grab the pauldron and have that interaction that you wouldn't normally.
I have smacked pieces of armor that have hurt and then regretted it later.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They do their job.
You don't really have to like describe your character as much either. Like, you don't have to belabor the point of what your character's wearing, what they look like, or the color of hair that they have, or whatever. If you already have that,
it is still good to do. It's good to remind it, but the characters, like for example, Najia, my pirate character from our Pirates of Bloodwater series,
with the gauntlet,
started looking completely different, and then the next season I'm wearing a total different outfit. I have hand stitched for no reason besides the fact that her
Insomnia?
character, Insomnia.
Oh.
But the fact that
That was where you were going with
always
that?
makes fun of my character shirts. So I was like, oh no, now I need a new shirt. Fine, okay.
You can show character growth in another way as well.
That's so cool. So like, that's awesome. It's like, I don't know, it makes your character more three-dimensional. It also ingratiates one character to another. It's like I was bullied to change my shirt.
Finally, after
feathers.
months of adventuring, finally changing your shirt.
They have feathers hanging from their earrings from the character that they thought was dead previously. And then as soon as that character came back and pointed it out to them, they immediately were like, what are you talking? Nope.
And people in chat really read on it. They're like, oh, wait, why is that there now? And once people in chat, like, I think I saw Ghoulie in there before, one of our long-term viewers, the second they see something different, they're like, wait, what does that mean? What is that like? Is that a reflection of something? Is that something that hasn't happened yet? I don't understand. So it's like another layer of things that people are reading into.
Intrigue.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Everything on the costumes has a meaning in one way, shape, or form, even if that meaning is literally to not have any. It could just be this was a fun decision the character decided to let go and has something just for them on them.
You know, I'm imagining all these fans with like a kind of a cork board with pictures and screenshots.
Yarn.
Yep.
Yeah, Pepe Sylvia.
Coffee, like 3 in.
Yep.
Mine's just off shot. But I get you. I get you. It's like streamers are like onions, man. There are layers of things that you have to stick on top of just the base audio to be able to bring the whole thing to life. As soon as you add a video component, if you start in audio and transition to video, I've always found that to be a lot harder than if you start in video and transition to audio. Because if you start in video, you do all of these, like you say, the fidgets and the touching, and you do all of that naturally. But if you start in audio, you're told not to do that because obviously rustling of shirts, rustling of clothes, anything gets picked up on very high fidelity microphones. So you lose all of those really good video habits sometimes.
And you're also probably more likely to pick your nose on camera.
I mean, I do that anyway. I mean, what? Yeah.
Thankfully, no pants in either. So if that was pants, if pants were your deciding factor in all this, I'm sorry, we can't help you.
Go with
no
either,
pants no matter what.
I'm just in my boxes, man. I don't know about you.
Yeah. I'm actually
we have the pants packed for today.
Yeah.
The pants packed. It's engaged. Yeah, 100%.
If I could
go ahead. Please. No, please.
Oh, I was going to say, the talk of visual, especially cosplay and stuff like that. I do want to give a shout out to folks like myself who wearing in a costume. Sorry, it's just never going to happen. It's not me. But enhancing if you're going to stream, enhance your visuals somehow. Because, and especially, who is this character? What is their class? If you are not dressed up as your barbarian, put something on the damn stream so they know.
Your overlay should be clean too. Like I said, you have 8 seconds to tell me what you're about. I honestly like spending some time to learn some basic graphic design. If you don't have a team yet, is really going to help you in the end. More tools, more skills that you have will only make it better. So that later on,
easy to read fonts.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah, and I'll be honest, if you have any questions, let me know because I married a graphic designer. That way I wouldn't have to learn any of that myself.
Nice.
But no,
but access to Photoshop for life.
Yes, legitimately.
100%.
And that got me Adobe Premiere so I could edit the videos. It's worked out wonderfully. It was a 10-year plan, but it's worked out now. No, but yes, the enhance with some kind of overlay, which I'm gonna shout out to Gehenna Gaming for giving an overlay, and then me realizing you didn't have specific places for me to put cameras for the people I was streaming for, and I'm going, oh god, I've got to get this together, and I scrambled because I needed more stuff other than floating heads in the void. I couldn't handle it, and that's not a pick at you guys. It was just a realization of I'm so used to having this overlay already. I need to go do something with it, and so
everybody has their own like orientation, and we didn't want to choke anybody out with that by saying you put this here. Some people want to put dice roller stuff up there and everything else. But you're right. It's like, where are my windows? Oh no.
Yeah, I like, and so I put some stuff together, and like for Occultist Anonymous, we have character art, which that's thanks to because we have some supporters, and so we had character art that we got early on, and now we actually have like in the coming weeks I'm maniacally happy we had new character art, and so we're going to show that progression, which I was like, yes, exactly. And so we had these very kind of mundane, badass looking characters, and now we have characters that are like active and doing stuff. And in one particular character has actually basically early on came out as gender fluid and realized this about themselves, and so our artist was like, yeah, you want me to do a second version, the female version of the character? Yeah, sure, why not? Yes. And so now I have to figure out how to quickly swap on the overlay. So, are they femme or are they masculine? And because
get a GIF.
Yep.
Well, but I want control. I want to be able to click a button and change because they're a mage and literally cast a spell to change so they can show their their identity and stuff. And I'm like, I'm so excited. I have more work to do. But that's
back to the lab.
Yeah,
you better like work when you stream. That is something I will point out. It is anything you have like in your mind about what you think streaming for an audience is, and you've only really streamed casually, it's wrong. Assume that there's like 800 other things that you know nothing about that you're going to have to teach yourself later on, and you're going to be better for it. But it's a lot of work because it's not just the stream, it's making the graphics, it's making your social media so people know that you're there, and it's learning, oh god, I need to know math for algorithms now so that the posts actually show up, and there's a lot in there that you're going to start to learn, and it's a package deal.
Just as a holistic, slightly controversial view, I think, but I go for a little bit of a hot take. It's more like a hot chip rather than a hot take. But I tend to go for the less is more approach. Because I tend to find, like you guys say, it's brilliant if you have an overlay that works. Like this one, for example, the VHC one is really clean. It's really nice. It gives you all the information that you need without like overloading people with information. There are a lot of really fucking shitty overlays out there. I'm going to be honest with you. They're awful. They overload whatever it is you're trying to look at. You can't even work out whether you're looking at a character model or whether you're looking at just a graphic that someone shoved in there. That's why on mine, I try and keep it as clean as I possibly can, because that way people are focused on the thing that you want them to be focused on. Like you were saying, Drew, like if you want them to be focused on the character and to know whether or not they're male or female or a mage or a barbarian or whatever, it doesn't matter. That's the thing that you draw the focus to. If you're using maps, then you draw the focus to the map and you arrange everything else so that it doesn't detract from that. There are loads of stock places. If you're a new streamer, I'm talking to you. If you're a new streamer and you're out there and you're thinking, I want to do this, absolutely do it. Take what these guys are saying, though, because these guys are saying, because honestly, it's hard. It's hard work and you have to love what you do. You really do. But don't let that stop you. Give it a go. Don't use the stock overlays is what I would say. There's a lot out there and they'll get you going for practice, but you need something bespoke, really. Try and build it yourself. And if it doesn't work, like Drew was saying, try and find someone who who does graphic design and get them to help you, even if it's just inspiration. I mean, I'm very lucky. I have an artist who does a lot of our streaming artwork, and it sounds like you guys do as well. It sounds like you guys have got those sorts of tools, or you do it yourself. But like, for me, I rely on what April does because she tells the story of what we're about to do before we do it. And that really is how we use it. So anyway, little hot chip.
I like it.
I guarantee there's an artist out there somewhere. If you said, hey, do you want to do something artsy and give life to a tabletop RPG stream? There's a lot of them out there who will happily work for you. But pay them. If you come, if I find out that you are paying an exposure, I will find you.
Thank you.
That's how you look in the camera, folks.
We'll find you. We will find you.
A tactical squad's just going to ascend from your rafters. You're like, how long?
Yeah.
Cosplayed from shoulders to waist, though. The rest is all just boxers and TJ pants.
Yeah, but that is our aesthetic, right? And slippers as well. We'll just ascend out of a Black Hawk and we'll be there. You know it.
Or we'll drop.
There's a reason we dress in costume. No one knows what we really look like. So
this is all a mask.
Yeah.
Red herring.
I think that this conversation can go on for so much longer, and I'm really sad that we have to end it. I'm going to ask
who's up next.
Who is up next?
Who
Why was that so threatening?
Yeah.
I mean, do we
next?
care?
We might. I'm looking at the schedule right now. We're doing this live, folks. Who
Well,
do we
they
have?
overran by 15 minutes, so we should
Inclusivity.
have at least another 10.
Inclusivity and representation in horror gaming. All right, thanks, guys. It's been terrific.
I mean, that's
This is
fair.
way more
Yeah, that's
important
very
than us.
valid.
Way more important than us. But I am gonna before we leave. There's two things. Two questions. Answer this quickly as you can. Number one, will you come back and do this again? Because I enjoyed the hell out of talking to all of you, and I want to have you on one of our regular Gehenna Gaming streams. And number two, where can people find you?
You guys go
Start
first.
with Mike. Mike's up
Me?
top. Start with Mike. Yeah.
Yeah,
All right,
Mike, you're on top.
I'm up
Go
top.
for it.
All right, fine.
Yeah.
One, yes, fuck yeah. I absolutely want to work with all of you guys because you're all awesome people, and I really, really would love to stay in contact after this. Let's do a stream. I fucking love that.
Yeah.
And if you wanna find me, you can follow me on Twitter at Mikey_Scamp. You can tweet at the Rusty Quill. You can find us on Twitch, Rusty_Quill. You can find us on rustyquill.com. Basically, if you type Rusty Quill into something, you'll probably end up finding us somehow. But tweet me if you want me specifically.
Excellent. Drew, all the way over there.
Sure. At Lonrim on Twitter or at Occultist A on Twitter. Discord. This is really easy, guys. You want to come join us on Discord? Yeet into .space. Throw that into the URL. It means something for those of you who are watching the show, but easy way to join us on Discord. And we do have a Patreon, but I'm not going to shield that here. But yeah, Discord's the place to find me and a bunch of our community who are very, very knowledgeable and will happily join you in making fun of me. Oh,
Kassandra.
and yes, I will definitely come back.
Yes, please. Yeah, I was going to say, wait a minute. I didn't want to belabor the point. I'm like, maybe he just didn't like it. No, please come back. Please, let's do this again. Kassandra, NotMyCake, where can people find you? Will you come back?
I think we would love to talk more and do something fun. And we're all stuck inside, and you obviously know we could stream, so I feel like this is a no-brainer.
Mm-hmm.
Just not Saturdays, because Saturdays you can find us on, look at that segue, I'm learning from you, on Twitch TV/Devil's Gaming. We run our Chronicles of Darkness right now. Werewolf the Forsaken.
Forsaken.
Oh, you waited so long for those puns.
You win. You win.
Man, it's a little fluffy, but I'll give it to you.
And then you could always find us at Team Devil's Luck on Twitter. We're being laughed at from above.
Thanks, Conry.
Yep. We deserve that. But you're safe for work, so where can people find your awesome costume making stuff?
Oh, hey, at NotMyCake on Twitter, as well as on the Discord for Devil's Luck Gaming. If you want to go to my Twitter, I will tweet out the link to the Discord later so you can join in and find us. But I'm also on the at Team Devil's Luck Twitter.
We bring sweet cat pics as well as heavy metal pre-show music selections.
And also at Cosfo, which is my Instagram that I use for mainly cat pictures and selfies and sometimes my photography.
I feel like this is going to work well because I do puppos instead. I use all the little doggos. So you come to my Twitter if you want to. We'll swap. That's what we'll do.
We have birds, so yeah.
You got birds.
Yes!
We've got the lot. We've got
It's a
birds,
pet
we've got
economy.
doggos and the kitties.
Mark, what do you have?
Yeah, what do you have? What are you bringing?
I have children, cats, and dogs.
Solid. It's a good.
I mean,
mix.
I'm in for the cats.
Yeah. I think you really should get a lizard though.
I used to have a rat and a snake.
Oh, dude,
That's
rats.
perfect.
Yes.
Resurrect them, bring them along.
Okay. Yeah,
We're gonna
just
have a great
resurrect them.
Yeah, unfortunately, the rat ate the snake.
It's gonna be really awkward when you resurrect them.
Dude, rats are vicious.
Oh Lord.
Yeah.
And on that note, folks,
it just fell off the rails very, very quickly. Thank you so much. I also need more caffeine. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Artosius. You can follow us on Twitter, Gehenna, all over where you can find other fine Gehenna Gamings. Click the donate button if you want to donate to the COVID-19 Solidarity Response Fund. We're still raising money. This whole time we had raffle going on. So if you donate, you can be entered into the raffle. Also, subscribe to this channel for more cool stuff down the road. Cool. Bye.
Bye, everyone.